Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be the last video in the identity series. I'm just going to get right into it. It's going to be dealing with how to deal with intrusive questions and how to talk to children age appropriately and openly and honestly, because a lot of times we're just considered normal biological children. No, there's nothing different than us. We're going to be raised. We don't need to talk about adoption. That doesn't even matter. That doesn't affect them. It's just a one-time thing. We rescued them. What more needs to be talked about? They're in a safe environment. That's it. That is nothing further from the truth. So I'm going to get right into it. Dealing with intrusive questions about adoption. Everything I speak on this video is going to be taken from adoption competency training, the free training that I will link in the description below. It is something that I wish I had as an adoptee growing up. I did not have any ways to deal with intrusive questions as an adoptee. My parents didn't think it was important to talk about. And so I shut down and just hid from questions. And either I hid from questions or I talked about it too openly. There was no in between with boundaries or assertiveness. There was either complete shutdown or complete openness. And it was embarrassing not to know how to say, hey, I don't want to talk about that, or that's not something I feel comfortable talking about. And that's why it's so important to teach kids and have open, honest conversations and provide skills to learn how to deal with these questions. So it's called Wise Up. It's an acronym. The W stands for walk away or ignore what is said or heard. That's the first option you can do. If somebody brings up a common question about adoption, or hey, why don't you look like your family? Or hey, why are you adopted? Is it because you're weird or your parents didn't want you? Just straight up, don't even say anything, walk away. That is perfectly fine. The I says it's private and it's okay not to answer in the conversation. You can say that it's private, I don't talk about that. Verbally say that that's not something I talk about. And that's it. You don't have to say anything. If they keep bothering you about it, just keep saying that same thing, and then you can just walk away, like the first W. S is share something about your own adoption. You can say, my real parents are the ones who raised me, and my biological parents, I get twice the love. So you could say, I have 4 parents. You can say whatever you want to about your own adoption. It's sharing something about your own story that you feel comfortable with. The last one is E, and that is to educate others about adoption in general. A lot of people are very, very, very misinformed about adoption. So let's say they come up to you, a big common one is saying, oh my gosh, you're so lucky to be adopted, or you know how grateful you must be for your new family or your adopted family. You can respond to them and say, hey, you know, luck has very little to do with it. It's actually a lot about adoption competency and adoption training. And there's loss involved in adoption. And you could say, you know, it's more about adoption education rather than being chosen. A lot of people say, you know, you were chosen. They try to make us kind of think and feel these ways if we don't know as children what is really going on. You can respond by educating them. And there's a lot of common things that people say, like, oh my God, you're so ungrateful, if we speak about any loss that's in adoption, or if we want to search for our biological family. That literally has nothing to do with our adopted family. So we can educate them and say, you know, searching for my biological family has nothing to do for my gratitude or for my love or lack of love for my adopted family. And just tell them what it is that you know now that you're educated. The next thing I want to talk about is being open and honest with children that are experiencing adoption. I'm just going to read this. I copied it from the case competency training that I took, the NTI training. So it's titled, The Whole Truth and Nothing But the Truth. If the subject of adoption is never talked about, the child is left to create a fantasy about their story. This is known as the ghost kingdom. It can be positive or negative, but it rarely ever is realistic. The importance of telling a child at a young age is paramount. This is when the information can be received and incorporated into the child's story and identity with relative ease. Waiting to tell them about adoption can cause the child to think of adoption as something to be ashamed of, or, in fact, too difficult to talk about. The longer they wait for their story, the more difficult it will be. If you are worried and you feel like you are protecting your child from hurtful information, it is better to know that negative feelings will not be attached to the child if the telling is not done in a negative way. It is so important to be open and fully honest. I would err on the side of too open and honest. I would rather have too much information rather than this big secret that like is not allowed to be talked about. Like, you are adopted, you are different, and that's okay. You can look different from your family, and that can be welcomed and celebrated rather than, oh no, you're the same. You're chosen and you're loved just like a biological child. That's not helpful, and that's not beautiful, and it's not good to ignore differences in any way. When information is not available, do not make it up. I want to repeat that. Do not make it up. My dad lied to me about a lot of stuff about my own adoption, and it made me trust him even less than I already did. And it just breaks the connection that is so, parent-child connection, the listening, the trust, the respect, it completely destroys it. So do not make up information. Tell them honestly. When you find it, you will be the first one to tell them. Make a placeholder in their life book so there's evidence that this was discussed and not hidden. Again, I made a video about how to create a life book. An example of what is age appropriate and what is not. So it might not be the best thing to tell a 5 or 6-year-old that their first mother was a drug addict or a prostitute. Just a quick side note, my mother was a lady of the night, and my parents never wanted to discuss this. They never wanted to discuss that she had a drug problem. And I wanted the details. I wanted the real reality facts. I needed something that, who was my mother? What did she look like? What did she do? Why was I giving up? And I didn't care if she was a drug addict or a prostitute. I needed to know that information so I could put my mind at ease. So I can tell this is where I came from. It doesn't matter so much what the truth was, as long as it was the truth. That's what matters, is the facts. Whether it's hurtful or positive, if it's lied about and saying, oh, she was a great woman, she gave you up out of love, and then you find out the truth, that will break all sorts of trust and will make you it breaks your identity, and it's a whole world shift. It's a whole mind shift. The more you could tell age appropriate truths, the better. And I'm telling you from experience and adoption competency training, they're telling you, tell the truth, no matter how hard it is, no matter how negative it seems to you or hurtful. The truth in the long run will be more healthy and beneficial to your child. So it might be more age appropriate to tell them that their first mother had some difficult adult problems and wasn't able to take care of any child, or he or she can be told that her first mother made some bad choices and took some drugs that were not good for her, and it was hard for her to stop taking those drugs, and because she did, she felt sick. When she was taking the drugs, she was not able to make good decisions and take care of you. In parentheses, it says, this information is true and age appropriate, and the facts can be filled in later when the child is old enough to understand addiction. So this is when your child starts asking around 5 or 6 or 7, about their biological family, about their biological mother. We need facts. Looking back when I was 5 or 6, wondering all these things, I was like, am I going to get the truth out of my parents? Are they going to be honest with me? And they were not. So I'm making these videos to try to help the next generation, the next family, to know what the needs are of their children and help them actually have a foundation of identity, trust, and connection, and building the child's identity. And this is very, very vital to know that the child needs factual information. I cannot stress this enough. Whether for you as a parent, as an adopted parent, saying I'm never telling them the honest truth, like, the kid will always be wondering whether they talk to you about it or not. I mean, this is coming from people that have been in the field for decades. You did not cause your parents' drinking or drug problem. This is stuff you could tell them. Your parents treated you as they did because drugs or alcohol controlled them. Just because your parents mistreated you doesn't mean they didn't love you. Your parent did not have control over their life and couldn't give you a safe, happy, and secure place to be. You need to grow up in a home where you can be safe from harm. These will all tell the child that, give reasons why, real reasons, factual reasons why they cannot be taken care of by their biological family. Other difficult information that needs to be shared includes information about conception by rape or incest. Like I said before, my mother, I believe I'm a product of rape, and I was wondering that my entire life. My parents didn't want to tell me because they thought it would be too hurtful or negative. I personally didn't care. I just wanted the truth. It's nothing I did. It's nothing to be ashamed of for me. That's just how I was conceived, how all humans have their own story of conception. Mine just happened to be my parents were into drugs and I was a product of rape. And it doesn't really matter to me. I just needed to know that because that's the truth. As questions will come up about their biological father, simple answers like, we don't have much information about your father. And when older, your biological mother did not want to be intimate, have sex with your biological father, but it happened anyway. Only much later when the child is mature enough should the word rape be used, when the child can fully understand what the word fully means. As difficult as this information is, it is important that the child learn about it with the support of loving and compassionate parents. I want to stress again, this is from adoption competency training. This is not from me. This is not my opinion on how to tell the children. This is adoption competency training. You can take the same training that I took and you will learn this information. I'm copying it from my training. It is important to tell the child that the child learn about it with the support of loving and compassionate parents who can help soften the impact, that can help them distance themselves from the circumstances of their conception, to recognize that their own worth as an individual. And then the last part is about siblings. Having living siblings can cause an identity crisis in young children, especially knowing that they are being raised in their biological family. It can cause the child to question why they weren't good enough to be raised in their family as well. Why was I the only one adopted and not them? Out of all the relationships in the biological family, the relationship with siblings is the most important. I think this is important to talk about because if we're thought of as normal biological children, oh, that's my child, and deny the fact that they have another family and another set of grandparents or great-grandparents or ancestors or siblings from adoption competency training standpoint is the strongest, most important. Sorry, my son needed me for a second. But the strongest connection is siblings. So if we're not being raised around our siblings and we are denied that we have another family, we can actually believe that we don't have a first family. I've just spoken to an adoptee online that said first families aren't real and that they weren't my family. They never held me because she was an infant adoption. And she genuinely believes what her parents are telling her, that she is their daughter, which that's true, and that she does not have a first family and first families are not real. And she has siblings and another bloodline, parents, grandparents, a whole other family tree. And she says that family is not real. And this is like the epitome of adoption fog. Like, to deny a child that has been separated from their biological family, that has other siblings that they may want to meet but not feel comfortable talking about it to you, and actually believe you as adopted parents that they're the only child in their family and not allowed to be in their, or have openness with their biological family, or that's going to be offensive to you. Across the board, I just think that as adoptees, there's certain ways you should raise adoptees. We have needs of validation because nobody understands the 7 core issues of adoption. We need those to be validated. We need openness in family, biological family, openness in records. I I haven't met any adoptee that doesn't want to see their original birth certificate or have medical family history opened up to them. I mean, first name, I don't know if any adoptee that doesn't want to know their real name given on their real birth certificate, ancestry, heritage, culture, if raised transracially, growing up around people that look like them, as opposed to growing up in an all-white area, which is so common for Black and brown adoptees. I mean, there's just across the board these similar unmet needs that need to be understood by adoptive parents. It's not like you rescue a child and that's it. There's nothing new to be learned. There is so much more to learn. And I just really hope that all adoptive parents watching this take the free NTI adoption competency training. It is literally free to everybody. It's on the CASE website, adoptionsupport.org. And I have no affiliation with them. I just took it to see what it was like, and I absolutely love it. I think it can benefit a lot of people in jobs. What the worst thing is, I think, is when nobody's on the same page and then everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else. So the best thing to do in that situation when nobody really knows like a standard operating procedure is everybody is on the same page. Here are the rules. This is the standard procedures we go by. Anything outside of that needs to be questioned. There's no kind of standard operating procedure for adopting. I think we're getting there, but for transracial adoption and international adoption, it's just, there's so many like opinions that just are not facts. The needs of adoptees need to be known. And I'm kind of rambling right now, but if we understand the needs and the 7 core issues of adoption, the 6 stuck spots of adopted adolescents, and the damage that is done from maternal separation, if we understand these basic needs of being raised in a community that looks like us, openness in adoption, being able to talk about it, ask all the questions, allowing your child to know that they have a first family that may want to meet them, may not, but just being open in your family about it and being truthful and not lying about it. I think these are just some common needs that need to be met and understood. But I really hope this video helps. It's kind of long. I will see you in the next video, my